I did enlist at 17 in the Army. Mainly, I wanted to go into the military, and I needed to do that to go to college. While I was in college, I went through Army ROTC, and from there I wanted to be an aviator, and I was able to got accepted and completed Army flight school. I flew UH-1 helicopters for about 3 years, and while I was there, I was looking around saying, well, shoot, I'd really like to fly jets. And I have a unique career in that aspect. I did apply, and I got accepted to fly jets in the Air Force. I went through Air Force undergraduate pilot training, and then from there I got selected for F-16 fighters, and I did fly about a total of 2,000 hours in F-16 with did have 18 missions over Iraq, and very, very wonderful career, and go back and do it again if I could. Coming up here and experiencing the Canadian Shield, which has been with us for 12,000 years since the last ice age. There's only one place on the planet that's like the Canadian Shield. We make light of it because we see it every day of water, rocks, and trees, but it is absolutely gorgeous. The numbers of wildlife that you can see if you looking on the shorelines, the different plant life, the different trees. You can just sit back and just say, ah. And then just the sheer beauty of some of the rock cliffs, just the way some of the bays are situated, the way the light hits some of the bays. As we start easing into late summer, early fall, obviously, we get a very brilliant array of colors with the reds, the orange, the yellows, and then obviously the greens. We are here at Rough Rock, an outpost lodge. However, our access to the lodge is incredibly easy. We're located approximately an hour north of Kenora, where we ask our guests to give us a phone call so we can meet you at our landing with our pontoon to greet you and bring you to the lodge. From the lodge to the landing, less than a 10-minute boat ride. And once you get to the lodge, we're in a secluded bay, wind protected at all sides. And once you're at the lodge, probably our greatest feature here at Rough Rock, we're always fishing within 15 minutes or less of the lodge. We're the only lodge located on the lake. We're not spending a lot of time in our boats getting to the fishing spots. We're already in the fishing spots. We just do not have to go very far to be fishing. We offer what's called our Rough Rock Grand Slam of a walleye, pike, muskie, and a smallmouth bass all in the same day. And it occurs about a dozen times a year. Sometimes last year we actually had 19 people accomplish that. Our quickest to the Grand Slam is 90 minutes if anybody wants to come challenge the record. The bar got set pretty high because he did it all on one lure, on an X-Wrap. But it is doable. The species you can expect is the walleye, smallmouth bass, pike, muskie, sauger, perch, rock bass, black crappie, and you may sight a lake sturgeon here and there. They're pretty rare. Nobody's hooked one, but they are up here. Unfortunately, we can't fish for them. You may see one of those. Here at Rough Rock Lodge, we practice, we teach proper handling techniques of our fish. An old fish, or a big fish, is an old fish. You got to treat them with care. We're a trophy catch and release lodge. We will keep our slot walleye 14 to 17 inches for the frying pan. The rest of these fishes, you get a good photo, you get them back in the lake for us. And we have one muskie in particular. Last time it was caught, it was at 49 inches. That's a heck of a fish. But it's been caught at least twice and documented with a photograph, because we can see the markings of this fish, and it's the same fish. So we do know our techniques work. We instill with our guests, through myself and our staff and our guides, of proper handling techniques to help preserve our fine fishing we have up here. The muskie scene has exploded over the years. For years, all we had to work with was inline spinners and some of the old throwback lures of the Suics and stuff. They still work. What we see here at Rough Rock, the rubber baits that have come onto the scene in the last 5 years have become very popular, and they do work. If you got one go-to lure, it would be probably a spinner. We're flexible with our guides. We tailor it to the guests, or customize it to the guests, what they want to fish for. A typical day would be, let's go chase some walleye in the morning for some shore lunch. we'll have shore lunch, and then in the afternoon we'll go hog hunting, and we'll get out the casting rods and we'll go after whatever's going to bite, whether it's a pike, a muskie, or a smallmouth bass, or even weed walleye in the shallows. Once we get some shore lunch walleyes, then we'll go hog hunting for the big walleye. Also have guests in the springtime that'll come up and they want to fish for our smallmouth bass. We have tremendous smallmouth bass fishing. We got several bays that the spawn turns on different times, so it gives us about a 2-week window for smallmouth bass fishing. We have tackle available. If I have fly-in groups or people who've never fished before, I have quality fishing rods and reels they're welcome to use. Get them out on the water, and obviously we teach them the basics of the rod and reel, what to expect when a fish hits, what to do when a fish hits, properly bringing in the fish. If we get really lucky and they're on a hot bite, they learn quickly because they want to get right back in the water for it. A 4-day, 5-night, 4-day stay with us. It's a good fit for a lot of people. It goes by quickly is probably the biggest feedback I get from guests. The 5 and 6 days, you know, a Saturday to Saturday stay. Give me 6 days of fishing. Out of that 6 days, 4 of the days are going to be eye-watering. There might be a down afternoon or a down morning. There will be one good day and one day just not so good. And we can't control the weather. But being on a river system, we can always find active fish somewhere. River system, the beauty of it is we have active fish all season long. They just move in relation to what the current is doing. Whereas on a landlocked lake, there will be a time of year when they're very active. This is when you need to be on this body of water. After this date, forget about it. They move deep or something changes and it's tough to fish with. Here at Rough Rock, walleye, for example, early spring, we're catching them from 3 to 15 feet of water. As it warms up, those fish will migrate away from their spawning beds, or if they were up feeding on the perch spawns, they'll migrate out to our several reefs and mid-lake reefs and humps out there and eddies due to the river system, and they'll start concentrating there. And as the season goes on into the fall, they really start concentrating and they start segregating into your the little fish, the eaters we like to call them, and then the bigger fish. We've got an excellent population of fish at about the 22 to 24 inch range. Great fish to catch and release because they are our future and they are our spawners. All of our fishing is accessible on the river system itself. However, we do offer a couple portage lakes that are easy to get to. They're a lot of fun to fish. They're filled with smallmouth bass and northern pike. It's been published in In Fisherman magazine that the Winnipeg River is #4 in the top 10 destinations in North America for trophy northern pike fishing. We're going to have to go back several years. There's an article, the Winnipeg River was also ranked in the top 10 for muskie fishing. So if you're looking for the toothy critters and you want them both at the same body of water, we have that.